Beautiful. All right. So I'm Larry Kast. I'm a manager solutions architect with Verizon. I've been in the business for 25 plus years, all in data. So pre-BlackBerry, before some of you were born, right? I had a Palm. I had a Windows CE device. And subsequently spent my entire career, or the majority of my career, in the wireless carrier space. I've been with Verizon for 10 plus years, and I've seen the growth of the IoT, or formerly known as telemetry, or machine-to-machine space. Today, really what I want to do is, first of all, the previous two speakers were just wonderful. I can't tell those of you who are in school how critically important security is, and building algorithms to optimize networks and predictive analytics is critically important in our space. And there's an entire ecosystem out there for you to look at when you get out of school as you're looking for careers. Today, what I want to talk to you about is it's a little bit of a dry presentation. My goal is really not to kill you with PowerPoint here, but really kind of educate you on having an IoT vision and building an IoT solution for the betterment of the world or just a specific industry. And so within that, I'm going to probably go through the presentation within 10, 15 minutes. And then I want to take you to the website, right? And I don't have a clicker, but it's fine. No, it'll be fine because this thing's very temperamental right now. So anyway, it's not allowing me. Stand by. 1 second here. My display is not being... let me go to my display settings. And I should just duplicate them. All right, so when we take a look at, there's a platform Verizon offers. I'm going to try to be as agnostic as possible on this, but really, there are some pillars you need to look at. And these are a few of the things that ThingSpace offers for you. At the end of this presentation, I'll actually take you to the website. Every one of you can sign in, have a registration, and take advantage of all the different things I'm about to talk about. But just some of the pillars out there is that there's what we call as ThingSpace Ready. And ThingSpace Ready is really getting you out of the box SDKs, ready to go, start building. This is with chipsets, modules. There's even free consulting, right? So if you have an idea and you need some technical help, this ThingSpace Ready platform get you going. And then you're going to need somewhere to view all that data. And that's what ThingSpace Manage is about. And then the different services you can do. The threats are very real in the marketplace. And so you may want to test out your next update to your hardware through firmware over the air. Right? And that's what the software services, ThingSpace services will do. And then I'll just talk about a few already end-to-end solutions that are deployed in the marketplace, platform as a service type avenue. All right, so when we take a look at IoT, you know, it's obviously a journey, right? You have to think about all the different pieces you need to have in place to actually build these end-to-end solutions. You know, first, if you're actually going to build your own hardware, you got to start off with, you know, what kind of a board am I going to have? What kind of a module do I want to have? What will that module do over the cellular network? Right? Do I need Wi-Fi? Do I need GPS? Do I need SMS? Right? All those things you got to think about. And then building the device. and then estimating, you know, a go-to-market strategy with that. So part of the platform allows an ecosystem of rich resources that you can utilize, and we can help you with your vision. So really the goal of Verizon is to simplify the steps, and that should be the goal of any carrier on the planet, really. When you're taking a look at IoT, you really need to make it as easy as possible to get deployed on a cellular network, right? So having a lot of self-service, so, you know, being able to manage your own devices, your own dashboards, you know, having a resource to find different pieces of hardware, APIs, that's very important. Making sure that you have a cost containment, because obviously, you know, with time and money, we could build rocket ships right out here, right? But we don't have time and money. You know, going through a SIM strategy. You know, are you going to have a single SKU or a dual SKU strategy? One for maybe domestic here in the U.S., one for the rest of the world. You know, obviously, budget matters, so having a competitive pricing model. And then, probably more critically, you know, as alluded to in a couple of the presentations, is you know, life cycle management. You know, technology obsolescence is real. Right. Just a quick note, the 4G network's not going away anytime soon. As a matter of fact, the overwhelming majority of IoT devices are deployed on 4G, right? Even though we are building 5G, it's for bigger bandwidth needs. So just keep that in mind as you hear about all the 5G information out in the marketplace. Don't believe all the hype, right? It's starting off as mobile broadband on our network, and we'll move to mobility. So getting to the home, cutting the cord, right? I just had to throw that out there. IoT Solutions, just the other day, we produced the first 5G hologram. There's a nice article on it. So a lot of fun stuff that's going to happen here in the future. All right, so when we talk about a dashboard, we talk about ThingSpace Manage. And this is a dashboard where you could set thresholds and alerts and being able to monitor all that activity of the IoT devices out there in the field. Right? So if all of a sudden a unit that's only supposed to do 2 megabytes a month goes up and over that, you want to be alerted real time. You know, why is that happening? And then you want to be able to take action on it. You want to be able to look at it, shut it down, suspend it, or maybe it was supposed to happen. Maybe there was a firmware update, right? And you didn't have the threshold set right. But it's really a nice dashboard to be able to take a look at and manage all your devices on a national basis. So another thing that I'll tell you about it is that as an organization, you may want to extrapolate that data and put it into a CRM or an ERP system. There are open APIs to actually do that as well. Software management. As I mentioned previously, we'll talk about, you know, as your hardware needs to have the next version of firmware, you probably want to test out that next version before you push it out to all the devices. Right? So having firmware over the air control and being able to test prior to sending it out is critically important. What if you sent it out and, oh no, the unit doesn't work correctly? Oh, there's an attack, there's a threat, there's maybe some malware in there, right? You want to be able to make sure that your firmware works before you push it out. Just giving you a better platform there and a resource tool to be able to control that. One of the other things to take into consideration is, you know, a lot of the IoT world is a fixed asset, right? It is a very specific fixed asset. And why should you spend the money, the extra money, on GPS? You don't need to do that. You can utilize triangulation within the network and have probably up to around 1,000 meters of accuracy there. Right? So there's no need to spend the money if all you want to know is that it's within a certain area. Right? For mobility, GPS is critical, and you would want that within that module. But ThingSpace services, one of the services is device location that you can take advantage of. And again, just about everything I'm talking about here is free, right? So we're a large proponent of helping the developer community in idea creation and going all the way to fruition. So as has been talked about, making sure security is of the utmost importance. There's different ways that we look at security. One of those is credentialing, where we're taking a look at packet headers and attaching additional encryption with credentialing. Different network architectures, private networks that we're able to build for customer bases. So it is critically important that the threats are real in the marketplace. And it's important that you protect your data. And through security credentialing, we help with those services. Just a few platform as a service, just a few solutions that are out there in the marketplace. When we take a look at some end-to-end solutions deployed, one of them is smart communities, right? So within the NetSense platform, you get video edge-based analytics and storage. And for what we're doing there is we're taking current municipalities' infrastructure, right? And as they update their LED lighting, as an example, we're able to attach sensors via Wi-Fi via our network, and being able to now help them with optimizing that lighting infrastructure. Right? Also with video for, when we talk about things such as parking, traffic monitoring, under-the-road sensors, understanding that traffic flow, understanding if a person or a vehicle is in a space that shouldn't belong there at a certain time of day. So having those rich analytics. One of the end-to-end platforms that's deployed in the market today. Utilities, gas, electric, right, water. Being able to now go into a community and reduce the carbon footprint, less truck rolls, right? Being able to remotely monitor kilowatts, therms, right? Water usage in near real time, and having a platform to do that end-to-end. Critical asset tracking. So high-value products out there in the marketplace. So if you're shipping products or that have high value and you want to know where they're at real time, you actually can now track those end-to-end. And then different types of sensors. So as an example, in the pharmaceutical world, there is something called the Drug Supply Chain Security Act, which says that the manufacturer of the drug is responsible for the drug from the inception all the way down to the end user. And within that supply chain, they have to monitor not only where it is, but the temperature of it. And it has to have a unique serial identifier. In the event that something goes wrong with the temperature, it goes above or below a certain threshold, the organizations out there, the pharmaceutical organizations want to know about it. And being able to know that real time could, potentially save lives. So, and then with all the different machines out there building different things, they all pretty much have what is called programmable logic controllers, or brains, right? Being able to have predictive analytics of what's going on with that machine before something bad happens, and being able to remotely push out an update or a software patch to it real time, reducing, again, a carbon footprint, and also saving that organization from having to stop production. So it's called condition-based maintenance or monitoring. That's real today. And then you talk about the globe, right? So domestically here, we're typically a step ahead of everybody else in terms of network deployments. Just as an example of that, Verizon has nationally deployed within the 4G LTE network category M1, MARI 1, right, which takes bandwidth sizes of 356 kilobits per second up and down at a maximum speed. So really low bursty data. And so like utilities is a great example of Cat M1 deployments. But what I'm telling you here is like most of the rest of the globe hasn't even started to think about Cat M1 or thought about it and has not deployed it. But as we get into a global state of IoT, we'll talk about a single SIM SKU strategy, as well as one set of APIs to tie in globally to those deployments out there. But again, I need the networks to catch up and support that. I'll skip over that slide. This is more marketing, fun marketing stuff. But anyway, I want to show you what the site looks like because that will probably give you a much better idea of what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this is, if you just went to thingspace.verizon.com, this is what would come up. I would recommend you to just register. Right? Again, this is all free services for you. And so within this, what you're going to find is a set of our APIs, free, all to pull down. Connectivity management, device location. So some things you should know about Verizon. We own Yahoo and AOL, and there's a company called Oath. And when we acquired those organizations, one of the mapping programs we purchased or we acquired was MapQuest. So if you have specific APIs for your solution that you needed for mapping, they're available. Like I said, the firmware over the air, that's critically important to your solution. SMS and device messaging and a few other open APIs are there. Then if you just wanted to get started right away, you could take advantage of FreeBoard. And really, this is already pre-built, and you could just start playing around with what an IoT solution may look like. Let me go back here. One of the other components here is, I talked about ThingSpace Manage and the dashboard of connectivity. And so within that, now you have an entire dashboard online. You can organize that dashboard in any way that you want in terms of look at the different thresholds, to look at the heartbeat of devices, ping devices, wake them up, shut them down. Something else that you could do is if you end up warehousing a lot of your hardware for a certain period of time, like months on end before it's deployed, you have the capability through this platform to actually tailor it to ping it, make sure it's tested, that it's good to go, and then leave it dormant for months on end without any cost structure. So if there's any connectivity issues for whatever reason, you could actually go into the platform and again take a look and find out what's going on. Of course, typically you'd set up an alert for that. If a device wasn't reporting data, you'd probably set up an alert for that. So, rich platform to be able to take a look at your field devices out there. And then, let's go. Let's do this. And then if you just wanted to take a look at every device that we had out there in module, you go to our open development site. And there's filters here, and you could actually go through the filters and say, you know, I'm looking for a device from this type of a manufacturer with this type of coverage for LTE bands, and do I want it to be voice capable? Do I not want it to be voice capable? Do I want it to have Wi-Fi? So you actually have a drop-down menu here of different things you could do. And then from there, you could find just about any device out there that's been made from any manufacturer out there that's capable on the network. So when we talk about one of the key pieces and one of the biggest obstacles for anybody is certification. Right? This platform for Category M1 solutions is free. Right? So if you're thinking about a very low bursty type platform and you want to go through a certification process, we have labs throughout the country where you could actually set up and test your product over the network, and we'd have other people involved to help you through that, and there's no cost structure to it. So we really want the developing community to think about IoT. We throw a lot of resources to make that happen, and we embrace a lot of different partnerships within it. So just as an example, I'm working on an organization that wants to remotely monitor batteries, car batteries. You know, when they first said this to me, I kind of looked at them like, really? and you know, they want to do it. It's a low-cost solution for them. It helps their research and development. Apparently, there's a huge marketplace in the world today for people who have remote homes with snowmobiles and cars and other things that, you know, that they want to make sure that the health of that battery is good. Working on wearables, like healthcare wearables for watches, predictive analytics for Alzheimer's patients, telemedicine, big area. And so I've helped organizations pick out different types of modules. What else can I tell you about this site? So if you just register at ThingSpace, you know, you'll have access to all this information. This ODI site is, or open development site is open to the public. And it would walk through every step of the way to help you build your IoT solutions. So with that, I'll open it up to questions. Any kind of questions anybody has in reference to this? Yes. Yep. Yeah, you should be able to, even though it's not, that's not been the focal point of Wi-Fi, right? I mean, it's been the focal point of wide area wireless. But if you had a tablet, let's say, or a thing that did take cellular, so FreeBoard would actually enable you to equip a data set, right, for your thing. I would have to ask those people at FreeBoard if they would allow that through this platform. We may have certain rules and regulations behind from Verizon for the ThingSpace. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the normal protocol for that, just so you know. However, if your future vision is to be wireless, right, on a wide area cellular network, if that's your future vision, then, I have to, unfortunately, there's lawyers involved with this stuff, right? So I have to kind of follow T's and C's behind it on the site. But I could help you with that. Yeah, we have SDK kits. Well, if you register for the site for ThingSpace, there is an SDK here, development kits. Yeah. Right. Yeah. These are Verizon specific, so yeah. 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 And that's here are some SDK. Yep. Yeah. There's some development kits. Here's kind of the piece behind it. All right, so now I'm going to get a little bit more granular, okay? You go and you buy the kit, right? You start developing. You want to test on the network. It has to be one of these kits because these are FCC approved and tested through Verizon, right? I can't just let anybody just go on the network because I have this FCC organization that might say, you're interfering with A, B, and C, right? Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. So I can help you walk through that. There's a lot of people in my position that can help you walk through that. The first step is registering, right? Once you're registered to the network, somebody's going to reach out to you, right? Whether it's somebody on a local basis or whether it's somebody on a headquarters basis, somebody's going to reach out to you and start walking you through all the processes. Plus we have relationships with all the OEMs out there. I mean, as channel partnerships. So, all right. Other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.